Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable examiners of this thesis seminar. In this special occasion, I am Adam Abdurochim, student of Master Management of Faculty Economy University of State Jakarta. Would like to say thank you for the examiners who give me an opportunity to present my thesis with the title The Influence of Corporate Financial Performance on Corporate Financial Responsibility of CSR with Quality Management as a Moderation Variable in the Banking Subsector. In this thesis seminar, supervised by Dr. Gatot Nazir Ahmad, MSE, and the second is Dr. Eti Gurindrawati, MSE AK. For the background, most company-run operations financed by debt and equity, which can provide the main benefit of debt financing and tax, while the disadvantage of the debt financing are debt costs, interest, or return paid by the company on the debt. The economy in a company increases when the company earns a profit. Obtaining from a profit, the company can fulfill the goals. One of them is corporate social responsibility or CSR. According to Eddie Ribigby, corporate social responsibility is a concept which company integrates social and environment concern in a business operation and in voluntary interaction with stakeholders that lead sustainable business success. According to ISO 26,000, that organization responsibility for the impact of its decision and activity on society and the environment through transparent and ethical behavior that contribute to sustainable development, including the health and welfare of society. Taking into account the expectation of stakeholders comply with the applicable law and be consistent with international norm of behavior and integrate across the organization practice in conjunction. It can be concluded that corporate social responsibility or social responsibility is an action taken by a company as a sense of corporate responsibility for the impact caused by the company's operation on social and the surrounding environment where the company is located. Corporate social responsibility is one of the obligations that must be carried out by the company in accordance with the content of Article 74 of Law Number 40 of 2007 concerning Limited Liability Company or UUPT. Disclosure of corporate social responsibility is a concept about the need for a company to build harmonious relationship with the community and other stakeholders according Abidin and Lestari. The current economy is very uncertain that has an influence on investors in facing high level of uncertainty income so that the focus of attention in assessing the performance of the company is accounting profit. On the other hand, financial performance is an illustration of the success of the company, which can be interpreted as a result that have been achieved for the various activities that have been carried out according to practice. Financial performance also one of the indicators that an investor will look. If you want to invest the company, investor will tend to invest the company that have a good financial performance because that have good financial performance can certainly reflect how the company's ability to generate profit is an attraction for the investor. In today's global economy, quality management has undergone change. The concept is no longer limited to the manufacturing sector and has expanded to service company and not-profit organizations such as healthcare, government service, education, and financial institutions. So that the principle and practice of quality management have been embraced by many quality managers and practitioners from various sectors have attracted the attention of many research from various fields. By Direct Mack and Barkzee, at this time, quality management is very important because quality management has a commitment to continuously improve its relationship to service with customers. Based on description above, this study intend to find out how corporate financial performance influence corporate social responsibility, with quality management as a moderating variable in the banking subsector, where corporate financial performance will be used in the study profitability analysis proxy by return on investment, return on asset, and return on equity. Research question is, does return on investment affect corporate social responsibility? Does return on asset affect corporate social responsibility? Does return on equity affect corporate social responsibility? Does quality management affect corporate social responsibility? Does quality management moderate return on investment on corporate social responsibility? Does quality management moderate return on asset on corporate social responsibility? Does quality management moderate return on equity on corporate social responsibility? Research purpose is knowing the effect of return on investment on corporate social responsibility, knowing the effect of return on asset on corporate social responsibility, knowing the effect of on equity on corporate social responsibility, knowing the effect of quality management on corporate social responsibility, knowing whether quality management moderate return on investment on corporate social responsibility, then knowing whether quality management moderates return on investment on corporate social responsibility. And the last is knowing whether quality management moderates return on equity on corporate social responsibility. Benefit of research is the first theoretical benefit, provide an opportunity for researchers to apply the theory gained while attending lecture and add insight in analyzing a problem, making decision, and drawing conclusion about the corporate social responsibility, quality management, return on investment, return on asset, and return on equity. This research can be used as additional information for leaders and reference for the further research. For practitioner benefit, this research contributes to completing questions regarding return on investment, return on assets, return on equity, and quality management, whether it affects corporate social responsibility. And further research can be carried out with other variables that can be complete this research. This research can be taken into consideration by company in analyzing corporate social responsibility decision making. For literature review, they have stakeholder theory. The theory based on Freeman is gather or individual can effect of the one of organization as a supplier, as a customer, as an investor, as an employee and community, as a group of politics, governments, media, and others. The definition more or less is as is a stakeholder in the some company divided by customer, employee, investor, and the community. As the based on the stakeholder theory, the company cannot lose without the and social environment. The agency theory show how the conflict that exists on the other hand between managers and owners, in the other hand between owner, managers, and creditor can be affect the company financing decision. In the flopping agency, Jensen and Mackling fashion including assumption taken from managerial economics, for example, by relying on the notion of subjective accepted utility of individual behavior, Jensen and Mackling. Agents will always have more information than the principal proximity and familiarity with the duty and responsibility assigned to them. What is a corporate social responsibility? The definition corporate social responsibility, according to Navikas, is corporate social responsibility is the commitment of business to contribute to sustainable economic development, working with employee and their representative, the local community and society at big, to improve the quality of life in a way that both good for business and good for development. According to the World Bank, corporate social responsibility is a company commitment developed through the corporation of employee and their representative, the local community and general public, to improve the quality of life through the good business and development. According to Mukharudfa, The measurement of corporate social responsibility refers to 91 disclosure items which are divided into 3 categories and 4 subcategories according to GRI, namely economy include 9 items, environment include 34 items, social cover, decent employee practice include 16 items, human right includes 12 items, society include 11 items, product responsibility cover 9 items. Now we can see the ESG score dimension that have 178 items total, sourced by Thomson Reuters Aiken. Principles of corporate social responsibility, they have 3 principles. According to Coldwell and Ares, there is sustainability, accountability, and transparency. Benefit of corporate social responsibility. In implementing corporate responsibility activity, it can bring positive benefit to society and government according to Commodity Act. It is benefit. Definition of financial performance according Slamet is achievement achieved by the company in a certain period reflect the level of soundness of the company. According to Bauer, measurement of the company financial performance can be seen from 2 kinds of measurement. That is market-based measure and accounting-based measure. Stage in analyzing financial performance. The performance appraisal of each company varies depending the scope of running. According to Fahmi, there is 5 stages in analyzing a company financial performance. Namely, the first is reviewing financial report data. The second is perform calculation. The third is make comparison with the calculation result that have been obtained. The fourth is perform interpretation of the various problem found. The last is seeking and providing solution to various problem found. According to Jumingan, 2021 financial analysis can be divided into 8 types. The first is comparative analysis of financial statement, trend analysis, present analysis, analysis of source and use of working capital, analysis of source and use of cash, financial ratio analysis, analysis of change in the gross profit, and the last is break-even analysis. Financial performance measurement is a very important factor for the company because it is an attempt to map the strategy into the action to achieve certain target. On the other hand, the performance measure system function to increase motivation and spur employee to comply with the standard of behavior set by the company in order to achieve organizational goals that are in accordance with the desired results. Purpose of financial performance measurement. Financial performance can be reflect the company's achievement so that can it be used as a measurement to assess the merit of the finance of a business entity in a certain period. Financial performance can be analyzed through financial ratio in a financial report. Return on investment measure how much the profit can be obtained from all the wealth owned by the company. So we can see the formula is net income divided by cost of investment. Then return on asset, the ratio of net to total measurement to return the total asset after interest and tax. Return on equity. Brigham and Houston state that return on equity is a most important ratio. Return on equity is used to measure the company's ability to obtain profit available to stakeholders. Based on this explanation regarding return on equity, it can be formulate the calculation of return on equity. Quality management according Kokoreva, the perspective of bank financing service is on methods based on digital technology. Quality management can be seen in the bank financing service based on corporate social responsibility in the digital economy, namely improving banking security, internet banking development, banking automation based on artificial intelligence, of use big data and analytics. This is a previous research. The first is pengaruh return on asset, return on equity, dan ukuran perusahaan terhadap corporate social responsibility disclosure. The second is service quality management of bank financing based on CSR in the digital economy in the interest of the theoretical framework. We use the return on asset and return on investment and return on equity proxy from the financial performance as independent variable, while the dependent variable is corporate social responsibility and quality management as moderating variable. The hypothesis development, the influence of financial performance on corporate social responsibility. H1 is return on investment affect the corporate social responsibility. H2 return on asset affect the corporate social responsibility. H3 return on equity affect a corporate social responsibility. The effect of quality management on corporate social responsibility is H4. The quality management influence the corporate social responsibility. The influence of quality management moderate corporate financial performance on corporate social responsibility. Quality management is H4 moderate return on investment on corporate social responsibility. H6 quality management moderate return on asset on corporate social responsibility. And H7 is quality management moderate return on equity on corporate social responsibility. Research method. The unit analysis is unit secondary data population as banking subsector company list on the IDX for the period 2017 to 2021. The sample is registered and active on the Indonesian Stock Exchange during the study period. The company must be submit and report its audited financial statement. The variable penelitian is they have a variable dependent is corporate social responsibility, variable independent is ratio profitability, and then the variable moderation is quality management. The data analysis technique is data processing technique carry out help with the Microsoft Office 365 software, and regression analysis using is not SPSS 27 but I have changed to EFUS 12. The testing classical assumption is t-test and coefficient determination test. The data result is the population. We can see the analysis descriptive that CSR is Y, ROI is X1, I mean return on investment X1 and return on asset is X2, then return on equity is X3, then quality management is Z. That mean and median, then maximum, minimum, and then standard deviation. That because the I use the e-view, so we need to pass Chow test and Huseman test. That we can see the Chow test have a probability is 0. A 0 means that lower than alpha is 0.5. So we can see the hypothesis is rejects. According to the data, we need to use a fixed effects model. Then we can see the Huseman test. Huseman test have a probability is 0.09. It means that probability is higher than 0.05. So the Huseman have opinion that we need to using random effect. That because the Huseman test and Chow test is different, the result. So we need to last check. We can see the LM test is large, like rank multiplier that we can see the branch pagan result is 0. 0 is less than 0.05. Then the select model is random effect model. Then we use the random effect model. We will get the classical assumption test. The first is multicollinear test. We can see about the data multicollinear test that return on investment with the return on asset, the point is 0.23. We can see the data is x1 first, x1 with x2 is 0.23, x1 with x3 is 0.54, x1 with z is 0.13, x2 with x3 is 0.48, and then x3 with x1 is 0.45. So all the data see that lower than 0.85. So you can conclude that return on investment, return on asset, return on equity, and quality management are free of multicollinearity or pass the multicollinearity test. Now we can move to heteroscedasticity test. Based on the result that figure that we can see from the graphical, the residual can see that not crossing the limit is 500 and minus 500. So that means the variance of residuals is same. Therefore, there are no symptoms of heteroscedasticity or passing the heteroscedasticity test. Now we can see the Durbin-Watson uh, stat is 2.25. So we can see the results is from the Durbin-Watson table is 1.8 is lower than 2.25 and then lower than 2.27. The conclusion that the data is not show sign of autocorrelation or pass the autocorrelation test. And then we can see the we move after the classical test, we move the hypothesis test results. We can see that the t test, we need uh, the t statistic with return on investment is 2.2, return on asset is 1.9, and then return on equity is minus 2.02, and quality management is 1.5 1.3. Then see the we can see the result is H1 return on investment. The T table is 2.2 is high at T account. We can see that T account is higher than T table, and then the significance is 0.02 is lower than 0.05. Then HA is accept and HO is reject. So the meaning that return on investment has a positive effect on the corporate social responsibility. Then we move the H2, the return on asset affect corporate social responsibility. Then the result is T account of 1.9 is higher than T table. It's 1.972, and the significance is 0.04 is lower than 0.05. So that's mean HA is accept and HO is reject. The meaning is the return on asset variable has a positive effect on corporate social responsibility. Then H3, return on equity affect the corporate social responsibility. So we can see the T account value is 2.02 is higher than T table. The point is 1.9 and significance is 0.04 is lower than 0.05. Then HA accept and HO is reject, meaning that the variable return on equity has a negative effect on corporate social responsibility. And then H4, the quality management influence corporate social responsibility. That means the variable obtained T account variable is lower than T table, and the significance is 0.1, so higher than 0.05. So HA is reject and HO accept. The meaning is quality management variable has no effect on corporate social responsibility. After that, we can see the determination coefficient test that the adjusted result is 0.03 or 3.8%. That means the independent variable consists of return on investment, return on assets, return on equity, and quality management are able to explain the corporate social responsibility variable on banking subsector is of 3.8, while the test is explained by other variable and not included in this research model. And then we can see how quality management moderate corporate social corporate financial performance. So we can see that influence of quality management moderate return on investment on corporate social responsibility is pure moderation variable, because see from the influence of quality management on corporate social responsibility from the first output has a probability value is 0.89. That means higher than 0.5, and interaction effect of return on investment with quality management, the second output has a probability is 0.02 is lower than 0.05, one of which is significant, so the result is pure moderation. Then we can see the second output have a from the table we can see the variable quality management is not a moderation variable because the effect of quality management on corporate social responsibility have probability is 0.09 is higher than 0.05, and the effect quality interaction management with return on asset in the second has output 0.27 is higher than 0.04 or 0.05, so none of which is significant, so the result is not moderate. And the output 3 is quality management that show that non-moderation variable because the quality management on corporate social responsibility in the first output is 0.95. That is higher than 0.05. And the effect quality management interaction with return on equity second output is 0.123 is higher than 0.05. So that's mean not neither of which is significant, so the result is not moderation. So the discussion is overall financial performance influence corporate social responsibility, both return on investment, return on asset, and return on equity has a positive return have a positive influence with corporate social responsibility because can show that company is able to earn profit so that the company will be more productive. The greater of yield of profit obtained from each company investment corporate social responsibility point the company makes, so the value of return on investment have positive effect which can be carried out by the banks. Then return on equity have been shown has a negative effect on corporate social responsibility, which means that greater of profit that the company wants to obtain from the issue the capital, the smaller chances point the company makes. And the effect of quality management on corporate social responsibility from the research, although 80% of company have ISO 9001. Not all the points in the CSR index are carried out by the company, but 70% of the sample does CSR with less than 50% points, and 30% of the sample does CSR is more than 50%. This means the company has an ISO 9001. Do not determine whether the fulfillment of the CSR point higher or lower. CSR with fulfillment of point is more than 50% is only carried out by the large bank and state-owned bank, especially in environmental point, which they are carried out by other banks. Influence of a quality management moderate corporate financial performance on corporate social responsibility. The more company have a good quality management, greater yield or profit obtained from each company investment. In the end, the more corporate social responsibility point the company makes. Thus, this is a consistent with research with the state of quality management. Then quality management does have a moderating effect on return on asset corporate financial performance. The more company have a good quality management, the greater the result obtained from the asset, but the corporate social responsibility policy carried out by the company has own policy because banking goals is increased return on asset, which illustrate the ability to manage investment fund to generate profit. Thus, this consistent with the research with the state of quality management does not moderate corporate social performance on corporate social responsibility like a previous research. The quality management does not have a moderating effect on return on equity on corporate social responsibility in this study. It can be seen that result of moderate regression analysis. However, there is no moderating effect return on equity on corporate social responsibility to indicate that more the company has a good quality management. The last influence company policy use the capital company activity. And closer, the conclusion, the effect of corporate financial performance on the corporate social responsibility with quality management as a moderating variable in banking subsector can be concluded that return on investment have an effect on corporate social responsibility, return on asset has effect corporate social responsibility. Return on equity has a negative effect on corporate social responsibility. Quality management has no effect on corporate social responsibility. Quality management moderate return on investment on influence corporate social responsibility. Quality management does not moderate return on asset on corporate social responsibility. And the last is quality management does not moderate return on equity on corporate social responsibility. Based on the result, there are several implications that the writer can be conveyed, including based on the research, the study, return on investment, return on asset, return on equity has influence on corporate social responsibility. So, company needs to maintain high profitability so they can maintain increased corporate social performance. The result of this study provides the quality management has no influence on the corporate social responsibility, but quality management moderate provide a strong influence increase return on investment so that quality management must be maintained and improved. Research limitation based on the research process and result. There are several limitations experienced by others, including even though the sample use the quality use is quite a lot for analysis, research are limited independent variable, and it's hoped that a further study can add another independent variable to be able to see influence that independent variable on the dependent variable. In the study, research are limited to ISO 9001 to measure quality management, and it's hoped that further study can add another measure to be able to measure quality management. Research relate quality management moderating corporate financial performance conduct by research is expected to be examined further to be able to see robust of the result obtained will be the same as the study or not. Due to the time span, research currently having a COVID-19 condition in 2020 and 2021. Suggestion based on the limitation have been described. The implication above the suggestion can be given by other are for further research. It is possible to examine similar methods using the same method, but it can be seen whether return on investment, return on asset, and return on equity can be continued independent variable that influence corporate social responsibility in banking sector. Then, research corporate social responsibility with quality management as moderating variable can be developed using ESG score method and insight into the literature for further research. That is the last presentation from me.